Mostly because last time I went live, I had one person join, so I don't want to sit around like wait and not tell my story. But it will be posted. And if you come in halfway through the story, I do apologize. So last night in Indiana, there was a lot of like rain and hail, like AJIL, and there was storms. And for most of my life, storms have been a big deal, tornadoes especially. A reoccurring dream for decades that I was conscious and like I couldn't change it until a couple of years ago, like the ending. And then I stopped having it. But anyway, the point is, I've experienced and been in a tornado before, and I've dealt with a lot of different things and like seeking out different supernatural experiences most of my life and experiencing them in the darkness. Yeah, I deal with a lot of fear now. That and other traumatic experiences. So storms have been a big deal, and like when it storms or it's possibly gonna get bad, I get bad, like really bad. I freak out. We have 5 animals, and we live next to a. Sorry, my dog is trying to chew through the chain. We have a puppy. We live next door to like we have a duplex, and then next door there's like a place with a basement that we go into if it gets really bad. And if I'm here by myself, it's always really bad to me. So, like, just for instance, I tried to carry everything down there last minute, and like I ended up breaking my finger, getting my finger stuck by putting the cage up, threw the cage down the stairs, without the animals in it. Once the cage landed down the stairs, it landed on the mouse and killed it. The mouse was laying on the floor for a while. Well, when I went to leave, Booker, come here, baby. When I went to leave, I walk out and I will post the video of the mouse. When I was leaving, the mouse like stands up, and I swear he has like this gaping hole from where the cage landed on him, and he is like The Walking Dead. Okay, I am not kidding. And then another time, this was a more recent one, I put on our helmet for the motorcycle and got in the cage with the dogs and covered ourselves up with blankets, and I fell asleep in there after being so fearful, which granted the sky turned green. And this was after, like that we live close to Whiteland, so between Whiteland and so when that tornado hit and stuff, like I have a video that I will tag in the link in the description, and of the storm literally flowing right past us, and it was moving so fast. It was so dark, and I was like, I'm going in. Like, this is serious. But hey, get out of my plants. But so anyway, last night there's possibility of some severe storms, damaging winds, and I was looking at the reports and I was trying to have faith in God. And so I came outside, I'm recording it, and the clouds are moving kind of fast. They're just like almost like rolling, and thick clouds and dark. Some of them were. And so I'm recording and I'm praying and I'm like commanding the wind and the waves. I'm asking God to. Finally, I remember reading in the Bible it said to, like, He intercedes through the groanings when we don't know what to pray for. And I thought, I'm always leaning on my own understanding for what to do and like how to fight. And the number one thing scripture that I remember, the first one I've ever remembered was Booker, hey. Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your. Yes, right now. You got toys right here. Hey, Booker. shepherd puppy. So Exodus 14:14, the Lord will fight for you and you shall hold your peace. Or be still or be quiet, depending on your version, but of translation. So that I have like recited for so long, but I haven't actually been able to hold it. So anyway, I ended up seeing this. I asked the storm to go over us, okay? And then that's when I started groaning. I just started groaning to God and trusting in Him, and I went inside and was like, it's gonna be good, you know? And right before I started to panic again, once our cats got out, the storm looked like it might have been passing over us. And it was the end of the clouds, and right after the darkest cloud, there was just this white, glowing cloud coming out from above it. And all I could think of was the glory cloud that covers us and hovers us of God. And it was like I felt like God blessed me with His presence. He increased my faith. He did so much. So this is what I wrote, and I'll share it because my phone's about to die. I was watching the movie Orphan when I actually was able to figure out the words to describe what I had experienced. It says, as He is strengthened within me, though I am weak, I don't feel like I'm getting weaker anymore, if that makes sense. It oddly feels more like being overwhelmed with this positivity in His expectations of me. Like He doesn't expect me to fail like I do, or like a lot of people do just from my history. And to experience such a graceful forgiveness and love. That's what I got from that, too. I was standing there, I'm like, He is love. Like, He is love. So, in totality, totally. Last night, mid-panic attack while attempting to get Kiki and Pumpkin, our cats, back into the house in the middle of the ongoing storms with possible damaging winds and rotation which had been seen previously near our town. Like the rest of Tornado Valley, including much of Indiana. It is here that I saw God's cloud of glory drape over our home, a dusky blue and purple haze with this mountainous white burden protruding above it. One thing I thought of was, to God, even the darkness is light. And it was here, in this valley chaos, that He showed Himself to me for the first time. And it was shining through a cloud in the middle of a dark storm. And it was the slowest moving cloud. And I will put a link in the description below, the video of it. Like, you're going to hear me praying through some of it, and I was kind of freaking out, and I didn't. But once I saw that cloud, it was, I've never experienced anything like it. I mean, clouds are beautiful, the sky is pretty, but I knew it was God, and like, and it wasn't that He obeyed me, but that He let mercy work in favor for me, showing me that He loves me, He loves us, regardless of if we're perfect or not. We are righteous through Christ. Not only does He see and hear me and fight for me, but I too see and hear Him now. Going from what I used to call myself as a ride or die, I was feeling lost when I started to realize that I was not what I used to be, what I used to claim as a ride or die. But now I'm riding and I'm dying, but for the right reasons. There is a video of a girl who does prophecies and stuff, and she was talking about how in her dream she had seen ROI, and when she looked it up, she had seen it was return on investment. But when I looked it up in the Bible, and it was El Roi. I don't know how to say it, but R-O-I, El, and it was a name of God for He sees you, basically. And I thought, wow, and I sent it to her. I'm not saying what she thought was wrong, but return of investment, it's just a very different perspective. And if, it was a dream from God, I believe it can have multiple meanings. But I thought it was important to share with her. But then it was like, writing and dying, I realized, for some reason it connected. The L and the ROI, return on investment, is a duplex definition for me anyways. It's a return on investment of active faith and trust in the waiting season or period. The waiting season. It's a duplex moment, harnessing the double blessing, which is a defining moment or a pivot point of my life. Believing, decreeing, and praying was the faith. The trust was my groaning, my requesting of intercession and intervention through the Holy Spirit. I was in my waiting, I was stepping out, literally, and I was looking up. Had I not have been doing that, had I continued to frantically look for my cat, panicking, looking up only to see the bags, I barely was able to see this great big white cloud protruding from it. I had no idea how big it was going to be or what it was going to look like, but had I just turned and went the other way, I would have missed it. And I think, in a way, I'll just read it. Holding my peace, regardless now, holding my peace, reconciled through Christ, my rescuer and my refuge. I did let my attitude through Christ. Oh, okay, I can't read my handwriting. I'm nervous. Okay, I did let my attitude and privilege steal the show last night, though. The privileged mindset. Cursing and fearing, and upset that no one was helping me, not even my dogs, to get our cats. And what to me was a life or death moment. I was mean to Pumpkin because she was the last one that I could grab and she would not come out. And I realized that it was there that met my needs. Because he needed for me to learn independently and under distress that I can still turn to him and he will still be there. And he will take his time for the one. I was cursing and fearing. Oh, I just read that. All of this brought me back to humility. After victory, it often welcomes, or we often become vulnerable to temptation. It's a slow intrusion, but it's a temptation of pride. It's a slow intrusion that either escalates or de-escalates through each decision that we make, if that makes sense. But it's because of the power that was surrounding us last night, and it becomes a shining light on a hill. It is not fate, but it is temptation. That means, like I said, a decision in the matter. It's not like, oh, well, the glory of God and like all those things, all these wonderful things happened, So yeah, I'm gonna be prideful, and yeah, I'm gonna fall. No, it's like we have a decision through experience to be mindful of it, pray about it, like to not lead us into temptation, to help us through it, to be like to have self-control, you know. I used to think that up until yesterday that it always attracted the enemy, and that what I meant was, okay, I always felt like whenever, okay, you know, the Spirit of God comes and like pride and all this stuff and the temptation, it came because the enemy was attracted to that or it was afraid of that. I'm not saying it's not, but I don't believe in any scenario or in every scenario necessarily that it is always the enemy at all, but let alone is it because he fears us. It's not that he's just simply attracted or intimidated by it. So I wrote down that I was to challenge this belief, which meant that it was my mind changing if I was able to successfully do so. But however, I personally felt like the issues stemmed from inside of me instead. It was a bitter root that harvested pride, and it was watered with power, the power of God. The amazing thing about God is that he loves us way too much to leave us there. He increased my faith so that I could take back parts of my lowly inheritance, which is humility, which is very much needed to better manifest his glorious presence and heavenly kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. He was here, yet for tonight, or he was near, yet far tonight, last night. He passed by slowly for one addict. It was me. It was a tear-jerking awe moment. I'm so nervous. Okay, I was in tear-jerking awe. And now I'm like, why me, Lord? Yet I can hear him in my head as he says, not literally. My next thought was, why not me? And not me. Why not him? As in, why not God? You know? It wasn't about me. It was why not him? He is the knight in shining that's going to show up at your front door still. It's a heart-wrenching revelation, yet such a life-altering experience. Stillbird seems so wicked in comparison to simply being present for his passing. You could say my eyes fell once fear returned. Well, honestly, my feelings in general. Once they took priority in my mind once again. Actually, I gave it the prioritized authority that Jesus had given me to put out. Because that hit me. Yet alone is all that it shall be, and God slowly is repaying me. Hold on, baby. We have 3 cats now. Toby is the one I've had since a baby, and I'm trying to get him to get better about being outside in the patio to be safe. I don't know if you can see Booker. So this is Booker. Oh, sorry. Are you stuck? Is that why you're Booker? Yeah. Alright. This is Booker. But, let me put her down. I gotta get her unstuck. Kiki, you never do this. Toby. Anyway, he's a mama's boy. He doesn't like to be outside. He's scared. I'm guessing I transferred that fear over, which sucks. But I've been trying to get us both out of the house. Anyways. So, Stillbird seems so wicked in comparison to simply being present for his passing. You could say my eyes fell once fear, feelings in general, returned and took priority in my mind once again. Actually, I gave it the prioritized authority that Jesus himself had given me. Ouch. Yet alone is all it shall be, and God slowly is repaying me. I still am a part of that moment, even currently. It's much deeper than a mere humane feeling or sense or sensation. It is like joy entered me for the first time. But if so, we have truly altered the definition. Therefore, doing man, God, cat going crazy, and no stuck dog. I unstuck the dog and I got the cat and brought him in as well. So, be back.